Welcome to another great day in the Alaskan Arctic. Today we're going to travel across the sea ice, up a frozen river to a lonely shelter cabin in sub-zero temperatures. We will see what happens to boiling water when it meets negative 53-degree temperatures. Have a gourmet meal prepared on an old barrel stove by the Iron Chef of the Arctic. Additionally, we will look at the winter gear that is necessary to comfortably manage a trip like this. The ice on the river is more than 3 feet thick. 5 inches of ice provides safe travel for snow machines, and 12 inches is safe for a car. I had finally arrived at the shelter cabin, so I immediately went in and built a fire. It's a touch on the cold side this morning. This shelter cabin is stocked with several days of wood. It has a couch or a bed, depending on what your needs are. Check out this unique vertical barrel stove. Looks like I need to add a little wood here. Arctic engineering at its very best. The Iron Chef of the Arctic is going to prepare a smothered pork chop for lunch today. This morning before I left my cabin, I chopped up a yellow onion. No surprise, it's frozen now. While this is cooking, let's take a look at the gear that's necessary for a trip in weather like this. My socks are heavyweight wool socks, and my boots have a heavy insulation liner in them. On the bottom half of my body, I have 4 layers. The first layer is expedition weight wool. The next 2 layers are Permaloft, and the final layer are triple layer Gore-Tex bibs. On the top half I have 5 layers. The first layer is an expedition weight polypropylene. Then I have a thick wool vest over that with a Permaloft jacket and a Gore-Tex fleece, and finally a very thick Gore-Tex expedition weight heavy parka. On this trip, I wore Gore-Tex gloves with thick liners under them, but I also took mittens with liners, a pair of fleece gloves, a stocking cap, and an extra face mask. In the event of an emergency, I used a stuff stack to bring my heavy bibs and parka along. And finally, for headgear, I wore a neoprene face mask with a neck gaiter. I put a fleece neck gaiter over that, a beaverskin cap, and a pair of goggles, which are not pictured here. It's time to get some coffee on. For this trip, I'm going to use a percolator. Here I am modeling my headgear. This mask vents your breath out the bottom so your goggles do not fog up. There's probably a math formula somewhere to estimate the size of a breath sickle given the temperature outside and the duration of time. The onions are done, so we'll put them in this steel plate. Put the pork chop in here, and then we're going to put the steel plate with the onions on top to thaw out the pork chop. but also to keep the onions warm. We're going to boil some water for a little science experiment. The water is beginning to percolate, so it's time to put the coffee in. The diffuser helps evenly distribute the water over the top of the coffee grounds. Looks like it's cold out here. We're going to see what happens when boiling water meets negative 53-degree air. Back inside, we're going to put some asparagus on to cook. I only brought one pan, so we'll cook it in tin foil. We're going to add a little water in here so that it can steam. A masterpiece in the making. You can hear magic happening in that percolator. Now I'm going to add the onions back in here. Golden meat art. Finally, I'll add some provolone cheese to the top. Looks like it froze. And then I'll cover it with a steel plate so that it can melt. I've clearly outdone myself. It looks like there's a ghost trying to sneak in the door in the background there. I'm going to move out of sight of the camera so I can plate this. This tastes like Let's talk about cast iron cleanup for just a brief second, because that's all the time it takes. First, I'm going to add some water into this hot pan. That will deglaze the fog from the meat on the bottom of the pan. Then I'll quickly scrub it. And wipe it clean with a paper towel. Voila, perfectly clean. I've packed all my gear and loaded it on my snow machine, so it's time to hit the trail. The trail over land is called a portage. As you can see, there's ice under the snow here. We'll just take this little shortcut. River channel. It's about 40 miles back to my cabin. The last stretch of today's trip is over sea ice. It's several feet thick. Thanks for watching today, and don't forget to subscribe.